This is a CC Radio podcast.
Welcome once again to the Countdown Podcast. This week we have a feature review for you, Rambo Last Blood. My name is Wayne.
And my name is Paul. Straight into it then, as we are wont to do with these reviews, Rambo Last Blood, sometimes known as Rambo 5, Last Blood.
Oh, really?
Is, of course, the fifth film in the Rambo sequence of films dating all the way back to First Blood. Very different kind of film.
Yeah.
This one is directed by Adrian Grunberg, whose only other feature film credit is Get the Gringo with Mel Gibson.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
Is he good?
It's not bad.
I heard it was okay.
Yeah, not bad. It's screenplay by Matthew Krolnick and Sylvester Stallone, with a story by Dan Gordon and Sly himself, and of course all based on David Morrell's original character from his novel. It is 89 minutes long. The budget's around about 50 million, and thus far, as is often the case, it's only been out for a couple of days. It's only taken 7.2 million around the world. Too early to tell whether or not this is a success for Sly and co. Wayne, what's it about?
In this film, John Rambo has resigned himself to a peaceful life in Arizona. Although he still struggles with PTSD from time to time, Rambo seems to be content working on a ranch, living with his family friend Maria and her teenage granddaughter Gabrielle. Unfortunately, Gabrielle gets kidnapped like a motherfucker, and Rambo finds himself up against a Mexican drug cartel. So with the help of this local journalist, Carmen, played by Paz Vega, Rambo uncovers a sex trafficking racket across the U.S.-Mexico border, and now he's got to get Rambo like a motherfucker to rescue the girl while taking out some sex trafficking assholes. That is the film.
In fact, you made it more convoluted than it actually was.
Probably.
All right, so non-spoilers to begin with, because there is a predominantly one major thing that happens in this film that could be spoiled.
Yeah, that's the big thing.
Yeah. What do you think of Rambo as, first of all, a film, and then as a Rambo film?
Okay. As a Rambo film, what the fuck? Because I saw this morning, everyone, okay? By the way, sorry for my nasal voice. I'm fighting something.
Yeah, we've both been sick this week. I'm just a little further ahead in fighting it off.
So I'm sitting in there, and I'm expecting a Rambo film. That means him firing bows and arrows in a jungle against Vietnamese people, or something.
And against people. Racist motherfucker.
Usually Vietnamese, though.
Actually, it was Burmese.
Or North Korean.
It was Burmese in the last film.
That's right, it was. Asians. Okay. Rambo kills Asians.
And Russians in number 3.
And Russians. Okay, and Kurds at one stage. Anyway.
Yeah, I think he was fighting.
He was with them.
I think he turns and starts supporting.
That's right, because they were fighting the Russians.
Yeah,
Sorry, my bad. Okay, so yes, this film really takes its fucking time. I was sitting there. How long is the film? Do you know?
89 minutes.
It's felt like 3 hours. All right?
I wrote, here's a line from my review. The result is a film which provides cinematic blue balls for the majority of its runtime. Rambo, Eventual Blood, is literally 70 minutes of setup followed by 20 minutes of extreme violence.
That is very good. Where do you publish these? Is it Letterboxd?
Yeah.
Okay, everyone go read Paul's reviews. It's pretty funny shit. Okay, yes! Dude, I'm watching, and I'm like, no one has shot anyone. Rambo hasn't picked up a gun or a knife or my dick or anything, alright? And I'm like, it's halfway through the fucking film.
It's not the order of Wayne's preference. But things that Rambo should pick up.
It's a drama for like half the film. It's a fucking more than half the film, right? And I'm sitting there going, wow.
Acts. The first 2 acts are just pure drama.
And I understand what maybe they're trying to do. Are they trying to Wolverine up Rambo? Is that what's happening here?
Logan up.
Logan up, right?
Yeah.
They are. And if they are, this is not as hard-hitting as it's supposed to be. It just took a little time. What did you think?
Yeah, I reckon you're spot on. As a Rambo film, this is disappointing.
Man.
As a film itself, it can't exist without the other films. Otherwise, this is just a really, really average Taken.
Well,
without the other films, it's just a shitty Taken clone.
Because I never saw the previous Rambo. Did you see it?
Yeah.
Was it good? I heard it was real violent.
It was super violent.
Yeah.
So is this film.
This is
eventually
too, when it gets violent.
Yes, but it's super violent and he kills half the population of Burma.
See, Asians. But but in that last one, was it all action?
It was a lot more action than this.
Okay, good.
A lot more action.
All right.
Yes.
So that was more a Rambo movie then, right?
Yeah.
The last one. This one here is like shit ton of plot, shit ton of dialogue. Not bad dialogue necessarily, but not what I came for. All right. And then when some shit goes down, it goes down pretty well, and it goes down pretty violent. More violent than it needs to be, and it looked gratuitous, to be honest.
Oh, it was totally gratuitous.
Yeah. But I'm fine with that because at least something was fucking happening. Okay? That took... I will say one thing for it. It goes beyond what you might expect. Okay? All I'll say is that we'll get into it further in spoilers.
Sure.
But what you expect it to be, this run-of-the-mill, this beat by this beat by this beat, it's more than that, all right? And that's the best thing I can say about this film, because in every other way, it just drags, man.
I saw it with my brother, and I said to him 15 minutes of the film, this is going to happen, and that's going to happen, and that's going to be
So you picked the whole lot?
No, except I was wrong.
Yeah.
It didn't go the way I was going to go. And otherwise, that's why it gets a little higher score
That's right. That is
than I would have given
it. The best thing about the film is that it didn't do what you expected it to do. However, what it did do was not that impressive.
100% agree.
So, I mean...
Nothing really to fight here about, unfortunately. Just much like there wasn't much Rambo to fight during the film.
Yeah, and, man... That's what we're saying here, okay? When the action finally comes, it's okay, and it seems like the pace or something is just uneven because it took so long to get somewhere. I think that, something's happening now. Here's where the movie picks up. But it doesn't quite do that. It picks up a little, and then it's a little bit of a lull. And then something else happens, and it's now it's a convoluted more story, but it's still not complex enough to be called interesting.
Well, I think there's a whole bunch of problems with this movie if we get more generally beyond it being a Rambo film, other than the pacing, other than all of what we just discussed. I think it's shot really averagely. This film doesn't look very good at all, especially not reading sort of $50 million budget.
Yeah, that's why I'm like 50 million.
It's super close up. It's like Tony Scott possessed Adrian Grunberg.
Yeah, you're right.
And basically, because it was always really tight in close-ups of intensive dialogue, except the problem here is everyone, including Stallone, can't carry the pathos that's required here. I never once bought like the emotions that he was going through. There's one moment, again, it's a spoiler.
There's one or two moments like that. But this is a really good point you bring up, because I personally rate Sly as an actor.
Well, he's fantastic in Creed. Particularly the first one, but also the second one. He's very, very good, which probably goes to show how much more nuanced and more real a character Rocky is versus this walking cliche that is Rambo.
Absolutely. And you know what? Copland. He plays opposite Robert De Niro, and in my opinion, outacts Robert De Niro in that movie. This guy can act, okay? And if he's producing this film, he should have done it better. Because I didn't buy it. Yeah, I don't buy a lot of this shit. I don't know what the story is, because I think maybe, like you said, Rambo is this ridiculous, like, cliched character.
He's out of time, right? Here's the problem.
Yeah, good point.
Right? You said it's kind of Logan-esque. Rambo became... This is almost like a spiritual sequel to the first film, ignoring 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah, good point.
Rambo's 2, 3, and 4 became this hyper-violent, cliched action/warrior hero who kills everything that comes in his path. He is unstoppable. He's a force of nature.
Yeah.
Right? This film, they want to ground him back again because it's 2019, and that shit from the 80s and 90s and 2008 don't fly no more.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work.
No, it doesn't. And you know what? I think, because Logan, right? You could almost watch Logan on its own because it's such a different movie and you could argue that Wolverine is a quintessential like action hero comic character that they grounded with Logan. If they tried to do that here, they missed the mark because it doesn't make it. I don't know. It just wasn't good enough.
No,
it wasn't that good.
No, 100% agree in everything in that regard. I thought the bad guys were really shit. Really shit.
The bad guys were...
Okay. There's two main brothers, right?
Yeah, and they're sex traffickers.
They're sex traffickers, and then they're hordes of underlings, as you would expect. And not one of them is off-the-wall crazy, and the other one's a bit more of a level-headed dude. And neither of them, I thought, especially compared to shit like... Even recently, like Narcos on Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
The bad guys there are way more... Nuanced and threatening.
Layers.
And, like Pablo Escobar and all that. This is just fucking lame. It's like a shit Sicario knockoff.
It was a shit Sicario knockoff, and of the two brothers, the lead brother with the better hair, he
That's the way Wayne looks at the world.
Because the other guy was just weird. He shows a smidgen of promise, right? But it's not still enough. It's not. You don't spend enough time with him, and it's not that interesting. No. But oh god. I mean, I can't wait to get the spoilers because I've got a few questions for you.
Yeah. Well, maybe we should get there now. I think we've made apparent that our relative disdain. 2019 shit streak continues. This is not a good film. I wouldn't recommend. If you're a Rambo hardcore fan, go along just for the last act. Because you'll probably have some good time. But if you're at all squeamish about violence or you're not that sold on Rambo, don't fucking bother.
Yeah, if this is meant to be an emotional farewell to that character, there's little dignity in it. This one here, you know what I mean? It doesn't give him this amazing send-off or whatever.
If it wasn't for the fact that I didn't predict how it was going to go, this would be even lower score for me. But it's not a pass. I'll just say that for now.
Sure.
All right, that's our non-spoiler review of Rambo. Let's get into our spoiler-filled thoughts of Last Blood. All All right, then you have been warned. If you're still here, you've seen the film, or you do not give two shits. Wayne, what do you want to say? Spoiler-wise.
Okay, I want to get this out of the way straight up, okay? Towards the end of the movie, Sly goes and takes out and gets the girl back. Something happens, we'll talk about that in a minute. And the drug dealers follow Sly back because he sends a message to the main drug dealer by beheading his brother and
Which
sticking...
they don't even fucking show.
They don't show... Yeah, and I wanted to see that guy
all the
suffer
things
because he's
that
the
you-
worst guy in
yeah,
the show.
Of all the things you cut out of this film, the cathartic moment of killing the worst bad guy
Yeah.
is left because for a shocking moment where you see him drop the head out the side of the car. That's not fucking shocking. It's just dumb.
No, and also... You get to see the good people suffer in this
Yes.
movie, but you don't get to see the bad guys suffer.
No, not really.
That's a problem. Not
Well,
enough,
one-
anyway.
one of the two,
One, yes,
yeah.
but not the other. And so that's fine. Anyway, these bad guys come to Sly's ranch, and he somehow, for some reason, has a tunnel system under the ranch. Don't know why.
Which is very well established in the first
It's
part
fine,
of the film.
it's
but
fine.
Not why, other than the fact I'm a bit Looney Tunes and I've got PTSD and this makes me feel better.
Yeah, so it's for whatever reason he has those tunnels. He basically sets up, and this is the best thing about the movie. He sets up a shit ton of like Rube Goldberg-esque like traps and deadly traps and shit for people to come down. Right? That's fine. I like that. I'm glad
In fact,
they're doing that.
This is the trailer. The entire trailer is
See the
pretty much
trailer?
the last 25 minutes
Is
of the
it?
film. Yeah.
Oh god. Well, that makes sense because that's the one interesting bit.
Yeah.
These guys go through like basically the bad guy comes along with 200 fucking henchmen, right?
I counted, right? There's
How
about
much?
8 cars.
8 cars.
And
so
I
what's
did
that?
try and keep a vague count of the kills, and he does...
48 tops.
Yeah,
8 people per
he doesn't
car?
kill, he doesn't kill as many as 48.
Okay.
I reckon he kills about 30 people in that last part, which kind of works.
All right, but like one of the cars blew up and shit.
It did,
so-
and I wasn't sure how many people were in that car, so...
Yeah, all right. So let's just say there's a lot of bad guys.
Yep.
They then go through these traps and they get fucked up by like grenades going
And
off.
he's everywhere.
Arrows in their face and fucking big
Yep.
spikes up their butt and shit like that, right? Here's the thing though, and I don't get this. As soon as the track triggers and these guys get staked and they're dying on a or getting...
keeps shooting them.
He shoots them right after it. So he's right there. I'm like, then why'd you put the trap there, Sly? Just shoot them. Like, if you're going to be there anyway, shoot them all, right?
There was a couple of moments where he really did waste bullets.
Why? Because they're dying and almost dead. He's like, boom, I blow their head off. I'm
Yeah.
like, but why? Now, I can only think that the reason he was making sure they were dead is so that
Couldn't come back and get him later.
well, I mean, the guy was finger skewered with like 20 spikes.
know.
He wasn't coming
I know.
back. These guys were on the floor as well, getting skewered. So anyway, but is that he was making sure they were all dead so the last one alive was the bad guy, was the big bad
Was the
guy.
head honcho.
But again, that doesn't, it's not, it looked stupid when he did it. I'm like, what are you doing?
It was overkill,
Yeah.
right? And for me, he gets shot, right? So he gets shot towards one bit. Purely because he walks around behind 3 dudes and
Yep.
doesn't open up on them.
Yep.
He decides to start pushing aside the support, which he had been jimmying early on so that it would fall. And he gets shot. And I'm like, well, that was fucking
Which
dumb.
means his trigger is shithouse. And also, what the fuck was his strategy?
Yeah, so
Just go up and jiggle traps until they work? This is
why
bullshit.
couldn't you just shoot them and
Yeah.
then bury them alive to be sure?
Exactly. So then the trap didn't go off. So what, Slag?
I don't
You
know if
where
it didn't
is.
go off. I think, yeah.
Oh, that was the trap. Him actually doing the
Yes.
thing. So it's a stupid trap.
It's a really stupid
and also,
trap.
he's got like claymores and shit,
Yep.
but he doesn't have a bulletproof vest. So
It's true.
I don't
That's
know,
true.
right? And I think that was the whole thing. Like, he gets capped so that the idea is at the end you're not sure if he survives or not.
Well, no, you are, because if you had stayed around for the end credits, he gets on his horse and rides off at the end of the montage of all the Rambo
But
bits.
was that not a flashback?
No. We had progressed all the way through the series of films, through the first
Yeah,
blood,
yeah.
to him getting on the horse and riding
So
off.
he made it.
Yeah.
I actually think that's better because it would be. I assumed Last Blood he's going to die. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that was my assumption. He's going to die saving the girl. That's what
Yeah.
I said to my brother. And of course, here's the big thing. The girl dies.
yes. Now, this I did not expect. And to be fair, if I'm giving the movie any props, that happens.
Yeah, and that's likewise. It raised my score by, 10 points.
Yeah. For anyone who
Here's-
hasn't seen it, go ahead.
Yeah, well, here's the problem. Rambo is a fucking dumbass trying to rescue her the first time. It is so fucking on the nose and ridiculously terrible, his plan to get her back.
Yeah, that was a problem. By the way, so I'm sorry, everyone, just real quick, if you haven't seen the movie, which I assume you haven't, it's a piece of shit. This girl goes into Mexico to try and find her dad. Dad finds her, turns out he's an
He's a piece of
asshole.
shit.
He's a piece of shit.
Which Rambo and her grandmother tried to warn her.
Right. Then she gets drugged and caught by sex traffickers, so Rambo finds out where she is and goes to find and get her back from the sex traffickers, which is a brothel, obviously. Right? He goes down there and, as you say, has the most ill-conceived plan. He pretty much just walks in there, gets surrounded by 200 fuckers.
Yep.
And they kick the titties out of him, and he's about to die, except this reporter happens to be following him and took him out.
Here's one of my other mystifying bits. The big bad guy, the brother who survives to the end,
Yep.
he says, nah, leave him alive so he can live with his knowledge. And I'm like, fuck off. That is so daft as a motivation.
Exactly, because he's saying there are men with such black hearts that you wouldn't understand. So the idea here is that this guy is so evil. He's saying, these women are nothing to me. They're just fucking things.
That's fine. Say all that and then put a bullet in his head and walk away.
Exactly. No one's going to leave that loose end just for spite.
It
was a shithouse thing.
But his whole plan was he's got one pistol and he knows by this stage that they're like sex traffickers.
Yep.
He's going to take them all and just like give her back and they will? Like it's so daft.
Exactly. And it's almost like that was the shit thing, because if Rambo was worth anything, I mean the amount of planning he did to kid out his house, like he could have done half that planning and had a plan to walk in there. You know what I mean? Like it's just dumb.
And so then he rescues her and she dies. She dies
right.
in his arms, basically, on the drive back.
Because it looks like he rescues her, he's bringing her home, and it's like, oh shit, that's what's going to happen. Maybe there'll be one more fight. But then she dies in the truck while he's saying something to her, like very nice to her. And I'm like, fuck, I didn't expect that to happen. I also didn't expect her to get hurt with the knife and everything.
I definitely expected her to get hurt.
Really?
Yeah, but I didn't expect and implied heavy rape and all the rest of that. It's awful.
It's horrible.
But then they don't go chasing him. I'm like, hang on. You know who's taking her.
And you know his name.
And you know his name and his address. Yeah. And they're like, yeah, whatever, that's all good. Until Rambo goes back down there and, as we've discussed, kills the brother by cutting his head off.
Well, to be fair,
what the fuck?
I could actually almost believe that, because Rambo just came in to get what they assume is maybe his daughter or someone, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, fuck this guy. I have to go across to the US now and kill him, all right?
Then either we needed a scene like that where they discussed it and decided not to do it, or they were going to do it, just hadn't got around to it yet.
Yeah, maybe.
It's a very, given the way they've talked about it and how they're these badass dudes and oh my god, and everyone's scared of them, they would totally have to protect their rep after that.
Yeah. Yeah, you're probably right, because he did fuck up all the clients and everything with a hammer. Walks in with a hammer into the brothel and starts smashing dudes' heads and dicks with a hammer. It's pretty gross, but it's pretty. And also, can we talk about this? When the violence finally starts, like fucking 8 hours
so
into the
over
movie,
the top.
Right, he smashes this pimp dude, right? And then what did he do? He used the butt of his knife to crack the guy's chest, and then, or at least plunge. He broke the skin somehow. And then he sticks his finger into the guy's chest.
Oh, sorry, when he's chasing down the girl at the start. Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, his floating ribs and shit, he pulls them out.
I think it's his collarbone.
Clavicle. Yeah.
And he pulls the collarbone out and starts
and snaps it. And it's like, I'm going to rip this. I'm like, holy shit. And then the dude's just dealing with it as he drives him around. And all that kind of shit. Yeah. Which is, look, that was, the violence was, I want to say, it was...
To me, it was a redeeming feature of the film.
It was a redeeming feature, but you want to not get... It's hard to not get gratuitous with that stuff.
Well, it was rated R. It's rated R in Australia. As far as I'm aware, it's the only R-rated release to mainstream cinema in Australia this year.
Oh, okay.
So they really went for it. It's as hard an R in America as you could get.
Eventually. Yes. And this is the thing. Let's talk about the bad guy getting his comeuppance. At the end...
He suffers a little bit, I'm glad.
He gets pinned by 4 arrows to a wall, and Rambo comes in and says, "This is what it feels like." And then plunges his survival knife into the guy's chest, hacks it open, reaches in, literally pulls out his heart and shows it to him. All right? Now, okay, I'm willing for that to happen, okay? Because it's this kind of movie, but you can't do this Logan-ish type thing if you're going to do that. I said that
was my least of the problems with this film.
I know. It's all blood, no soul. That's kind of how it was.
Yeah, sure, that's a nice way of saying it.
So, yeah.
I think I'm pretty much done talking about
this.
Yeah,
I think I'm done. I'm done too.
Wayne, what do you give Rambo Last Blood?
It's 43. It's 43.
We're very, very close.
Really?
So close, which is why the soundboard has not been used at all today. Rambo Last Blood is the worst Rambo film. Final thoughts by a long way. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
As products of their time, First Blood Part 2 was a great film as a kid.
Oh, First Blood Part 2 is fucking great.
Rambo 3 wasn't as good, but it was still pretty good for its time. Rambo from 2008 it's still following in that.
Yeah.
It's what you expect.
Yep.
This attempt to reground the character, to tie it back into the thriller that the first film was.
Yeah, it was a miss.
Is a complete miss. It's a real tragedy. If not for the fact I was wrong with my predictions, it would be even lower than 40. But I'm going to give it a 41.
41?
A snippet better than Anna from last week.
Oh, wow. Oh, no, I enjoyed Anna more.
For me, I like this one better, but not a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, that's our review of Rambo.
Don't bother with that, guys. Don't bother with that.
Yet another film to avoid. Next week, we'll be checking out Ad Astra.
Ad Astra.
Maybe that's the one we should have done this week and vice versa.
Thinking about that album halfway through this movie.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for joining us. You can let us know if we got it right or wrong via email at thecountdownpodcast@gmail.com, on Twitter at thecountdownpc, and we host through Podbean where you can follow us there, write comments on the episodes, or indeed hit us up on our Australian home the CC Radio Network, ccradio.com.au. New show, Fightcast Australia, has joined, and another one is on the way. Fangirling.
Yeah.
And that is it from us today. My name is Paul,
My name is Wayne.
and this has been the non-used soundboard.
Thrill me.
A lot more next time, please, Sylvester Stallone.
No, okay.
Catch you next week.
Yeah.